So word comes out yesterday that Cespedes was a no-show for the start of the game. Now, this is not cause for alarm for me. Here's how this works. For a 1 o'clock game that follows a Saturday night game, the itinerary would say there'd be a 9 o'clock bus, which is the early bus that is full of coaches, and that's it. Then there'd be a late bus, which would be, let's say, a 10:30 bus, get to the park by 11, 2 hours before. You'd have no BP generally because you don't want to get the players there too early because they would have had a night game the night before. You get on the bus. Generally, the starting pitcher takes the bus pre-COVID. Most of the players take Uber, taxis, and they get to the park on their own. Ichiro actually would have a driver wherever he was. So the bus would be really for broadcasters and executives. The bus would arrive. The report time on the itinerary, let's say, stretch at 11. That means you've got to be on the field ready to stretch at 11 o'clock. So I would always wait for the phone call. I spent 18 years waiting for phone calls from the GM or the trainer. This player's hurt. This player didn't show up. This player did this. This player did that. This player had a fight. This player got arrested. Any kind of call, I've gotten them all. So the Mets find out that Cespedes is not at the ballpark on time. So time passes. No news. Simply a little tweet that says, Cespedes not here. Okay. All of a sudden, Brodie Van Wagenen, out of nowhere, releases the following statement. As of game time, Yoenis Cespedes has not reported to the ballpark today. He did not reach out to management with any explanation for his absence. Our attempts to contact him have been unsuccessful. Well, I lost my mind. This may be a candidate for the Mount Rushmore of pathetic, scary, and incompetent statements ever released by a team. And that's quite a threshold given what we've seen only in 188 Nothing Personal episodes since October 14th. My first thought, is Cespedes alive? I was thinking about Tyler Skaggs. I was thinking about COVID. I was thinking about all the things that could have happened. Strip clubs, losing a kidney. Any bad thing came to my head because the statement says he didn't reach out to management with an explanation, which is what you do if you're going to be late. You call the trainer, you call a teammate, you call your manager, you call your general manager, you call your president, you make a phone call, you text. Then word gets to the manager, GM, up the chain. You tell the owner, we've got a late player. We tell the manager whether or not we want to bench him and take him out of the lineup because he's late. And we handle it. And then we would have the manager announce to the media why he was not in the lineup. And that would be that. Our attempts to contact him have been unsuccessful. What kind of horse hockey is that? When we've had a player not report, we don't wait 5 seconds. We go to his friends on the team. Have you seen Cespedes? Have you seen Cespedes? Have you seen Cespedes? No. Next phone call to the traveling secretary. Get on the phone with the hotel and have someone knock on his door. He is probably passed out. Get him up and get him over to the ballpark. And then we would talk about finding him, taking him out of the lineup, and dealing with the discipline. There is no such thing as an attempt that is unsuccessful. Because if he is not in his room, then he is AWOL. Then you start calling your resident security agent. A resident security agent, former FBI, former police, former CIA, guys with badges. We teach our players and executives the one cardinal rule, not don't make the first or third out at third base, not hustle out every ground ball. The one cardinal rule, when you are in trouble, you call the resident security agent. That's the first call. Not your wife, not your girlfriend, not your child, not your teammate, not your manager. You call the resident security agent when you're in trouble. After we would find out that the knock on the door was unsuccessful, the next call immediately, not at game time, this would be at 11:06 at the latest. You call the resident security agent. Every team has one. Every team has one. So we would get a card that was laminated that had the name of every resident security agent in every town. I would call our RSA and the Atlanta RSA. We have a missing player. I would then get information from the hotel that not only is Cespedes not in there, but neither is his stuff. Well, that would be a clue. That would mean that he has gone missing from the team and has an unexcused absence. I would explain this to the media, or I would explain nothing to the media. What I would not do is release a statement that would make people worried about his safety. The Mets then went into damage control and, of course, released another statement that we have no reason to believe that his safety is at risk. Well, what the hell does that mean? Did you find him? Did you not find him? Where is he? Then during the game, there was an announcement made that Yoenis Cespedes has decided to opt out of the 2020 season. Apparently, Cespedes' agent. Now, here's where it gets funny. Do you know who negotiated Cespedes' contract with the Mets? That long-term disaster of a deal that makes Wei-Yin Chen look like the greatest contract in the history of any signing ever? Cespedes' agent was BVW. Isn't that funny? That's his agent and then became his GM. Well, he got a new agent because BVW had to get rid of all his players when he became this rock star GM. An agent, his agent, called Brody during the game to say Cespedes opted out. Brody then met the media at the end of the game to say, we had no idea this was coming. Cespedes has opted out for COVID. Now we get news that Cespedes had been complaining that he felt that he was not getting enough at-bats because the Mets were trying to make sure he did not hit any of his incentives. Well, by the way, that's called a Tuesday, Yoenis. We're not going to let you hit your incentives unless you stop striking out 57% of the time. And unless you show that you can beat out a ground ball double play. What Cespedes did is inexcusable. To walk out on your teammates and your team without giving notice, to disappear from your hotel, to cause a team to worry, though despite evidence to the contrary, I guess they were worried, though that statement would not have indicated as such. They only had to clarify once the Twitter world started saying, my God, is he okay? What kind of teammate does that? It's a teammate whose name starts with and ends with I. That is the type of player that Cespedes has shown to be because of the action he took. I don't blame him for opting out because of COVID. We saw Lorenzo Cain do it with the Brewers. We saw Ison Diaz, a young player with the Marlins, opt out as a negative, one of the few negative Marlins. So I'm not shocked by this. What I'm shocked is the way. He knows better. He's not a rookie just coming here from Cuba, where I met with him, took him to lunch trying to sign him when the Oakland A's outbid us by a few $1 million. We thought we'd get him in Florida. Sat with him at lunch at Smith and Walensky in Florida. Thought that he would be the type of player who could lead a team. We went to see him play, and he did a workout for us. He was a man amongst boys. But his action yesterday makes him a boy amongst teenagers. The reason I don't let Brody Van Wagenen off the hook is that you cannot allow your name to be associated with a statement like that. He knows better. Even as an agent, he knows better.